I'm Naki Sora on Lights Out Stories. Kill the lights, hold your breath, and spend the night with me in fear, to learn the truth that daylight denies.
The American Dream, but wrong. Nina Reyes. Bennett believed she'd escaped the shadows of Capiz, the whispers, the chilling tales, the dark things lurking among trees. Ohio was her fresh start. Married to Eric, a loving, devoted husband, she had everything: a cozy home in a quiet neighborhood, a fulfilling career as a nurse, and the anticipation of their first child. But happiness, she learned, can be fragile. Echoes from Capiz in Capiz, a coastal province in the Philippines notorious for folklore and supernatural legends, Nina's childhood was filled with unsettling stories. Her grandmother, Lola Nena, often warned her about the dreaded Aswang, a shape-shifting predator infamous for stealing unborn babies. Lola Nena would whisper urgently, "Listen for the Tik-Tik bird. Loud means safe. Quiet means the Aswang is near, hiding, watching, waiting to strike." Nina laughed off these tales as superstition when she grew older, especially after moving to America. Yet, the nightmares lingered in her subconscious, dormant but ever present. New beginnings, bliss and ignorance. In Ohio, Nina's life blossomed. Eric adored her, attentive and supportive, nurturing her dreams. When she became pregnant, joy enveloped their small household. Eric's sister Ashley showed unusual excitement, becoming heavily involved, perhaps overly attentive. At first, Nina welcomed Ashley's presence, grateful for the companionship during Eric's increasingly demanding work schedule. However, a subtle unease crept in as Ashley's visits became frequent, her gaze lingering a second too long, her smile slightly forced. 6 months pregnant, the first signs. Nina's health began deteriorating unexpectedly. Despite an increasing appetite, she lost weight rapidly. Her skin paled, eyes sunk into shadowed sockets, and fatigue overwhelmed her. Ashley, concerned yet oddly persistent, prepared hearty broths filled with dark meats, claiming they would strengthen her. Every evening, as twilight deepened, Nina heard the unsettling cry, "Tik-Tik, Tik-Tik." Initially loud, comforting in its distance, it soon grew softer, more muted each night. Dread stirred in Nina's memories. 7 months pregnant, the deepening nightmare. Eric grew distant, withdrawn, absorbed by mysterious obligations at work. Alone, Nina's dreams darkened into nightmares filled with shadowy figures and monstrous whispers. Her belly shifted painfully, feeling as though tiny hands clawed and scratched from within. Ashley's demeanor shifted sharply. Once caring, she now radiated an unsettling intensity, constantly assuring Nina, "It's almost time. Soon, you'll understand everything." Confusion and fear clouded Nina's judgment. Ashley's watchfulness turned oppressive, her gaze predatory. One overcast afternoon, a frail, elderly Filipino woman named Aling Marta knocked gently at Nina's door. Suspicious, Nina hesitated, recalling Lola Nena's warnings, but the old woman smiled warmly, saying softly, "I knew your grandmother. She warned me this day would come. You are not safe." Nina invited Aling Marta in cautiously, learning the old woman carried charms and ancient remedies. The woman's eyes held secrets as she whispered urgently, "Trust no one, not even those closest to you." Aling Marta glanced warily at Ashley, who hovered outside, watching through the window. 8 months pregnant, converging darkness. Sleepless nights became unbearable. The tick-tick sound grew agonizingly faint, signaling imminent danger. One midnight, wing beats shattered the stillness outside. Heart pounding, Nina stumbled to the window. Horrified, she saw grotesque creatures dangling from the trees, bodies severed at the waist, entrails gleaming grotesquely under pale moonlight. Their eyes glowed red, fixated on her window. In the yard's center sat Ashley, cradling bundles of rags, gently rocking and humming an eerie lullaby. Her vacant black eyes stared directly into Nina's, lips curled in a dreadful smile. In panic, Nina reached out to Eric, pleading desperately for help, but her messages remained unanswered. Two seemingly compassionate co-workers of Eric, Ben, and Clara visited unexpectedly, their initial warmth soon giving way to sinister overtones. Nina sensed they were part of a hidden malevolent circle, complicit in her torment. Nina's trust shattered. She clung to Aling Marta's protective charms, feeling profoundly isolated and vulnerable. The climax unleashed horror. A sudden piercing pain jolted Nina awake, her screams filling the empty house. Her belly rippled violently, movements fierce and unnatural. Eric appeared in the doorway, but something about him was terribly wrong. His face expressionless, eyes devoid of life. Ashley stepped from behind him, eyes shining with dreadful anticipation. "It's time," she whispered coldly, approaching slowly, hands trembling eagerly. A thunderous crash echoed as Aling Marta stormed through the front door, brandishing ancient relics, her voice powerful and commanding. She chanted protective prayers in Tagalog, each word resonating with ancient power. Ashley recoiled momentarily, hissing in fury. Chaos erupted, shadows danced violently, the air thickened with malevolent energy. Nina's screams intensified as labor pains overtook her body, fighting the oppressive darkness threatening to engulf them all. Suddenly, the room plunged into pitch-black silence, broken only by the piercing wails of a newborn baby. As Nina's eyes adjusted slightly, she saw a horrific sight. The newborn, covered in blood and viscera, emerged from within her, its tiny, yet unnaturally muscular body twisting inhumanly. The creature's eyes were piercing, cold, and predatory, gleaming a malevolent red. With grotesque precision, it severed the umbilical cord using sharp, elongated fangs protruding grotesquely from its misshapen mouth. Its belly button oozed a dark fluid, and it fixed its terrible gaze directly onto Nina, an ancient and ravenous intelligence behind those newborn eyes. Days later, local news headlines brought the community a shocking revelation. Police arrested Reyes Bennett and his sister Ashley, charging them with the murder of a young pregnant nurse and an elderly woman, as well as the kidnapping of a missing child. Authorities believe the siblings were part of a sinister cult operating in the area, targeting vulnerable expectant mothers. Residents have been urged to report any Tik-Tik sounds, a baffling detail that has left the community on edge. Investigations revealed their involvement with a sinister local cult that preyed specifically on vulnerable, expectant mothers. Several of Eric's co-workers, including Ben and Clara, remained at large, their whereabouts unknown. Nakisora solemnly reported, "Authorities caution residents to remain vigilant as further investigations continue into this horrifying network, reminding us all that the darkness we fear often hides closer than we realize." In a secluded, remote forest clearing, illuminated by flickering torches, Ben and Clara stood silently among a circle of hooded cult members. At the center, placed reverently upon an ornate pedestal, lay the Aswang child, eyes burning crimson, tiny fangs gleaming ominously. The cultists bowed deeply, murmuring prayers and pledging allegiance to their terrifying newborn master, ready to serve whatever darkness awaited them. Suddenly, the room plunged into pitch-black silence, broken only by the piercing wails of a newborn baby. Then, through the impenetrable darkness, Nakisora's calm yet firm voice addressed the audience. "Listeners, heed this warning. The Aswang tales are not mere myths. They are nightmares made flesh, haunting realities that American soldiers stationed in the Philippines from 1903 to 1945, experienced firsthand. These horrors were buried by time and silence but have resurfaced. Protect yourselves. Carry salt, garlic, and holy symbols. Remember Ephesians 6:11. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may stand against the schemes of the devil. The boundary between worlds grows thinner each night. Remain vigilant. Evil never sleeps, and neither should you.
Thanks for braving the dark with me. I loved every chilling minute we spent together. Subscribe and meet me here for the next nightmare. Sleep tight.